Sorry, Mose couldn't be here, but he doing the Mrs. Mosley thing right now. You know, they're out doing. They're enjoying Valentine's Day is what I was trying to say.
I got you.
Y'all the worst.
You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. I guarantee real taste, ain't no faking that at all. If you don't know, you gon' know. Mose knows, tune into the show. Not a game, nitty gritty, ready go committee. Mose should be the CEO. Too solid, too real, too 100. I'ma keep it real when you don't. This that real gold talk. 24 karat words. San Francisco 49er fam. Realest squad on the earth. The 5 God, number 5, taking us to 6. Young killer Trey Lance. New era, new season. Mose got you covered. Go ahead and subscribe. 2022 this year. Got a whole nother vibe. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Mose know it all. Tune in for the vibe. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, you don't know nothing, but I know that. Mose knows.
Woo. I haven't heard that in a minute. That felt good to listen to. Listen, we back. We live. Mose knows fam. You know what it is. Listen, I'm excited to be back live. I'm excited to be back doing a show with somebody who I met in this content space a few years ago. And, you know, to keep it a buck, we still haven't met in person. I still haven't gotten to a Commanders game. I still haven't met him in Philly to, you know, help him combat these crazy Eagle fans because we know how they get. I still haven't had an opportunity to do that, but we've built a friendship through content, through our love of football, and man, I am so glad to have him here. Let me hit that because we got a special guest in the building. We got a Mose Knows family member. We got a brother from another in the building. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to have him here with us. Give it up for the chief commander himself, Rio Robinson. Good brother. What's going on, family?
Chill. What's good, man?
Hey, man. I listen, you here. It's good to have you back. We got to hit the round of applause.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Man, we back at it again. It's about that time. We just about a week from the 2026 NFL draft.
Oh yeah.
All 32 teams are finalizing their big boards. They're trying to figure out what direction they want to go in. And today we're going to talk about, you know, your Commanders. We're going to talk about, you know, what's going on down in Washington, what the vibe is you're feeling from the team, how I've been doing it this year. We'll take a look at some free agent and offseason acquisitions.
Okay.
We'll take a look at your depth chart. We'll get your insight on any position battles that might be going on down there in Washington. And then we'll jump in and we'll do the mock draft. But before we even get into that, man, how have you been? What you got going on? What's new in your world, Rio?
I'm lovely, man. I'm good right now. I'm busy, man. I just came off a marathon 6-hour stream today. I streamed for 6 hours because the team dropped new uniforms. So just to tell you how I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling lovely. I'm ready to talk some more, and I got another marathon stream on my group channel to do later tonight. So we love it. We live it. We bleed the burgundy and gold, and we got them new unis today, baby.
Oh yeah, man. You got me. You beat me to one of my topics. We definitely going to touch on that. We have to touch on that. But first, here's the first thing I want to touch on.
Yes, sir.
And we don't have to spend too much time if it's a sore spot. But we got to talk about it because you a Commanders fan. Y'all see the logo I'm repping. Y'all know what we got to talk about the Deebo Samuel experiment, man.
Oh, I thought you was about to go Aiyuk. I thought you was going Aiyuk.
We'll get there too.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get there too. Because we'll get to the roster. But as I'm looking at the roster, I'm seeing a lot of former 49ers over there in Washington.
AP. That's the general manager. Y'all know Adam Peters well. He's brought a lot of that Niners culture. We like to joke around that AP still moving on Bay Area timing because we can start a little later than most teams when it comes to getting active in free agency. But the Deebo Samuel experience, there was about a good 6 weeks to start the year where he was the best player on the roster last year. He was
really,
yes, because our season was cursed. Our season kind of felt cursed like y'all's was the season before in 2024. Yeah. That was us in 2025. Everyone got hurt. It started in the summer with the Terry contract negotiation. The vibes and the aura never returned that we had from 2024 coming off the NFC Championship appearance. But Deebo, the first 6 weeks of the season, he was it. He was that guy. He had a pretty good season here. He had to play number one receiver a lot of the time because Terry missed half the season. Terry never misses time. That should tell you what this season looked like. We're without the starting quarterback for half the season. We're without the starting wide receiver one for half the season. Linemen are hurt. Both edges are hurt. Our starting rookie cornerback was everybody got hurt on this roster last year. So Deebo had to step up early, and it got off to a good start. I remember week 1 versus the Giants, he got in the end zone, but it got to a point of the season where we were so bad and the offense was so predictable. We hit a wall, and the only thing Deebo had left in him was gadgety stuff, jet sweeps, bubble screen. I think we had to have run at least 25 screens to Deebo that went less than 3 yards. Like, it became redundant, and as he got banged up at a part of the season, and he disappeared for a few weeks, but that kind of happens too when you're playing Marcus Mariota for too long. Josh Johnson gets on the football field. Y'all know him that well too, but it just got tired. And if I want a receiver to complement Terry, I think I want a more wide receiver. But I like what Deebo did here. If after the draft they decide to continue talks and to bring him back, I wouldn't hate it, but he's definitely not my preference or my priority. But shout out to him. He embraced the culture. He's great. And I've heard nothing but good things about him in the building. So I did not have a problem with the Deebo experience, but I think there's another receiver in San Francisco that may be coming here at some point before the season starts. And I think we're going to draft the young guy. And there's another former 49er that I think I would prefer over him as well in Jawan Jennings.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about it, because my team looks like they are doing an overhaul at the wide receiver position.
Oh, yeah.
You saw what we did with bringing in Mike Evans. That was our big free agent splash.
Kirk.
We went and got a veteran to fill in kind of that slot role in Christian Kirk. Mm-hmm. There's even talks. I don't know how true it is. I don't know how far along we are in the conversation, but apparently John Lynch has picked up the phone and reached out to Jacksonville for BTJ. And so if that's a possibility, or if one of these young wide receivers in the draft, which we'll get to in a second, Zachariah Branch, Deion Burke, Denzel Boston, if one of these guys are available and we take a swing there, that means we've completely overhauled our wide receiver core. Yep. Obviously, I think the Brandon Aiyuk situation is what it is, and he will not be a San Francisco 49er in the future. We moved on from Deebo Samuel. It doesn't look like we are attempting to re-sign Jawan Jennings. We'll probably wait to see how the draft shakes out and what we're able to do draft-wise. If we need to bring back Jawan, we'll bring him back at that time. But we're playing hardball with that situation too, because he's going to have to come back at the number that we want to sign him at, not what he wants. And we have leverage.
He wants 21 million, the street saying.
and as much as I love Jawan, as much as I think he's a dog, I'm not spending 20+ million on what he does and what he brings to the team. I'm just not doing it. Can't do it. So that leaves a whole new wide receiver core for our team. And we know Brandon Aiyuk isn't coming back. But we're playing hardball with this situation.
Man,
we
y'all don't
feel
just release
like
this guy, man. If y'all don't just release this guy, man.
That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. The fan in me says, no, we're not just going to release him and let him go and be free and do what he wants to do when he basically bailed on this team.
Mm-hmm.
But the person and the former player in me says, if you don't want him, fine. Let him go somewhere else. And if he goes somewhere else and he's good, great. If he goes somewhere else and he bombs, whatever. It doesn't hurt you either way.
Mm-hmm.
Let him go. Move on. We don't need the drama. We don't need the attention. We don't need to continue talking about this story. If we have a new wide receiver core, if we're moving on with a new set of 90, however we're going into the season with, to get down to the 53, and if BA wasn't a part of it last year, and you know this year he isn't going to be a part of it, why is he still part of the story?
Right.
And so the ego is what frustrates me. It's because, we don't want Brandon to have the upper hand. We don't want him to feel like he forced his way out and he got what he wanted.
You know what it is?
Down in Washington with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. You know what it is? Y'all are trying to win the divorce. Y'all are trying to win the divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. And that never goes well.
It does not. It doesn't. All it does is make things messier, and it strings things out too far.
It never goes well. So listen, if he wants to go to Washington and be with one of his best friends who he has a rapport with in Jaden Daniels, let him do that. That's just my take. If we're already moving on, we're bringing in we brought in 2 wide receivers. There's a potential for us to bring in another. Just let him go. Let him move on. Let him go do what he got to do and just be done with it. So if that happens, understanding what his injury was, gruesome knee injury, multiple ligament tears.
Yeah.
I asked you the same question last year when I, said, what do you expect from Deebo Samuel in that offense? What are you expecting if a situation comes about where Brandon Aiyuk is a commander?
This Aiyuk situation is funny, and it's crazy how data changes over time. But I didn't want any parts of this situation going into it. And then I watched how we moved this offseason. I love how we moved this offseason. I like what we did on the defensive side of the ball. We went out and got Chigga Concord tight end. We're going to touch on the free agents in a second, but I like how AP was moving. We didn't really touch the receiver position from a starter standpoint. Terry's still lonely as hell as a starter. De'Ami Brown and Van Jefferson are not starting receivers. Luke McCaffrey could start in the slot for us. He was ascending, but he got hurt, but we don't want to go into the season with him being a starter. So Traylon Burks, Lane, McCaffrey, De'Ami Brown, Van Jefferson behind Terry McLaurin screams, we expect Aiyuk to be on this roster. It also screams we're drafting a receiver with one of our first 2 picks at 7 or 71. We don't have a second round pick. Jaden Daniels is Brandon Aiyuk's best friend, and they don't make any secret about it. These dudes are very vocal best friend. When he was trying to get his money, Jaden was with him along the way before he even played a snap in the NFL. It was hilarious. But the Aiyuk situation, he's went from a luxury thing to we better get him at this point because I need Jaden with an abundance of talent. Y'all talking about going to get BTJ? I wish we can get BTJ. That's another one of Jaden's friends. Jaden must be the greatest friend in the world because everybody wants to come here and reunite with him. Rashad White was Aiyuk and Jaden's running back in college. He's our running back now. We're waiting on Aiyuk. There's rumors that we could maybe if we trade back and add a second in the class, maybe we can go get Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know. Is Brandon Aiyuk okay is what I want to know. I want to know, is he okay mentally? I want to know, is he okay physically? It's been about 530 days since he's played football last. So it terrifies me, but I'm staying the course. We're going to see how the draft plays out. We're going to see if y'all are going to play it after the June 1st deadline. And I need him here for training camp. What I really need is him to be here for OTAs and offseason workouts and mandatory minicamp, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. If he gets here, it's going to be on an incentive. That whole deal is going to be commission-based pay, performance-based pay, and I expect him to just get right to it chemistry-wise with Jaden because that's his guy, and I expect a starting quality receiver opposite Terry, and he does not prevent me from drafting another guy next week in the NFL draft as well. So I expect Brandon Aiyuk to end up here at some point. The win is the question mark that I had, and it really feels like y'all could be petty enough to drag it into September.
Yeah, I honestly think so. I think it'll be that third or fourth week of August, probably that first week of September. Here's what I'll say. I'll say this. Brandon didn't handle the situation properly, at least in the beginning, from what I was told. But if I'm holding my organization accountable, we didn't handle it properly either. Apparently, Brandon wasn't checking in and doing the necessary things that he needed to do while he was rehabbing because he wanted to rehab away from the facility. If you heard the rumblings around Niner Nation and what's going on with us, there's this whole issue with this electrical substation and whether that's causing injuries or not. Some players feel it is, some players feel it's not. Whatever the case may be, Brandon wanted to rehab away from the team. My only frustration with that is we let Christian McCaffrey go all the way to Germany to get, a second opinion on his calf and his Achilles. Nick Bosa never rehabs at the facility.
Y'all play
He's
favorites.
Always down in Florida.
Y'all playing favorites over there.
Trent Williams is always in Texas when he's rehabbing and getting his body together, and who knows where he is now while he's waiting a new contract. So you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes, and it's not just my organization, these organizations play favorites. They allow certain players to do things a certain way because of who they are, what they bring to the table, and all those kind of things.
Boys club. It's boys club.
BA, at the start of the season, he looked like he was ready to go. I don't know if you remember, he got fined, and so did the team, because he was running routes pregame. And, hindsight is always 20/20. But when I look back at that, that was a rebellious act from BA to show the fans, hey, I'm good. I'm running routes. I'm moving better. I'm ready to play. However, what you guys don't know is the organization has already voided my guarantees. So the money that I was supposed to get, I didn't get. So what you think is acting out, there are things behind the scenes that you don't see. And so shout out to Big Mike 0918. He says, "What's up, Rio?" And then he adds another comment. He says, "Free BA."
Free you. Hashtag free you. We started up a hashtag over here in our
Really?
Hashtag free you. I had Grant Cohn on. Yeah, we team free you over here right now.
Okay. Shout out to my boy Grant, man. Grant is great. So yeah, we might have to help y'all because I think we're ready to move on as well. So we're gonna have to keep circulating that free uke hashtag. But
free you for sure.
Moving on, man. I'm honestly, I'm really glad that you like my I'm very, very picky when it comes to my thumbnails. And sometimes I spend too much time on them and I get too OD about it.
I feel you.
And when I made this one, I was like, I think this is it. And when I sent it to you and you said it brought tears to your eyes, I was like, okay, we on the right track. Let's talk about the uniforms, bro. Like, what are you feeling? What's going through your mind when the reveal happened, when you saw what was going to be the uniforms for this year? What was going through your mind? What was the feeling like when you saw the hype video around the new unis?
Flawless execution. It was the first thing because I had obviously inside information. I knew what to expect, but seeing it all come together and seeing the final version, like I had seen the W with the spear shooting through it the other day, but I didn't see the W with the spear shooting through it. I didn't see it on no matte black helmet with stripes on it either. They killed this. This rollout was the exact antithesis of how we rolled out Commanders on 2/2/22 4 years ago. They did it right. The activations afterwards, they had the team store opening the jerseys ready in hand. They got them ready to go. They did a uniform rally tonight. They got the Metro train painted burgundy and gold. They was giving the first person that pulled up to the monument a free jersey. They gave out 3 jerseys today. My organization is moving right. Our new team president, Mark Klaus, which is the Chunky Campbell Soup CEO, he knows branding and he knows ball. And our owner, they understand. They teamed up and they've knocked this process out the way. The reveal video was fire. The reveal video was so clean. The transitions, the way that they built it up, and the blend of adding something new while returning to the original, historic, iconic look. I could not be more happy at how this turned out. And I need one of those black jerseys on my body before this draft next week.
Yeah, man. I think I might have to get one of them black ones too. Because I think at some point, you know, I do content. I'm a 49ers fan, but I do content for all 32 things. I think at some point in my man cave, I got to have a jersey from all 32 teams. I think
that
my
black
goal
five.
is
Get that black 5, man.
Bruh. my goal is I got to have a jersey from every team in the man cave, but I also want to visit every NFL stadium in the league.
Hard.
So
That's hard.
that the black jerseys, and you hit it on the head, man. Like, Sean Taylor is one of my favorite players of all time. One of my favorite safeties ever. Shout out, rest in peace, rest in power.
21 forever.
Forever.
Ever.
Right?
Yeah.
If I can get one of them new black ones with a 26 and Taylor on it, cuz listen, if you can make
you want a 26. You want the college number. You don't want the 2-1? You don't want the 2-1? Because they got the 2-1.
Nah, give me the 2-1. Give me the 2-1. Give me the 2-1. You right. You right.
They
Give me
got
the 2-1.
that in the store right now.
In the black?
Yeah. They got the black Sean Taylor in the team store right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my wife is watching this. She's not in the comments yet. If she's not watching this, then hopefully she don't watch this far into the playback and see that I'm gonna spend some money on a Commander's jersey because I know she'll have a fit.
Now. She tuned out by now. Go ahead, get you one of them, man.
Shoot, let me put that order in before she say anything. Shout out to Shot with Charles. He says, shout out to my guy Rio, streaming all day, and we're here for it, man. I appreciate all of your fans and all of the Commanders fans tuning into the stream right now. Let's move forward, man. We talked about Deebo. We talked about Aiyuk. We talked about the new uniforms. Let's move to free agency.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what the Commanders were able to do. Adam Peters and the rest of his team over there. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. There are a couple that aren't listed here. I just wanted to make it big enough so everybody can see it. On the offensive side of the ball, I heard you talk about Chiga Okonkwo.
Yeah.
But what else stands out to you from these moves that were made on the offensive side?
On the offensive side, the most important thing is we took care of the big man. You know, we got the 2 big swaggiest left tackles in the league. You got our former GOAT, Trent Williams. We got big Laramie Tunsil over here, and we reset the market with him for the 3rd time in his career. We gave him a 2-year, $60 million deal. So first things first, they didn't let the Tunsil deal linger like Terry's did into the summer and become a story and a shit show of its own. They got it done. So we did that. We took care of the depth signings on the offensive line. We brought Chris Paul back. We brought back Nick Allegretti after releasing Tyler Biadasz. I think he's going to be our starting center this year. You know, we got our depth out the way. But offensively, the moves aren't sexy. We filled up our back room, our backfield. Bill Krosky-Merritt, after an 800-yard, 8-touchdown rookie season as a 7th-round pick, Jaden's boy Rashad White joins the room. So he got some competition to see who's going to start. Hey, if Love's at 7, we could have a really crowded back room. But we'll talk about draft in just a second. Jerome Ford rounds out the running back room with McNichols, Bill Krosky-Merritt, and Rashad White. But we just made depth signings at wide receiver, which makes me think they got to have some confidence of what Aiyuk could be if he could play football this year. That, and they feel confident about where they stand in with these 6 draft picks that we have upcoming next week. But the main idea, the pièce de resistance of the offensive side of free agency, Chigo Okonkwo, former Maryland Terrapin. We got a receiver that actually can have yak. Zach Ertz did his big one for the last 2 years for this team.
Yes, he did.
Gave us over 650 yards, 11 touchdowns over these last 2 years, and that's with no yak ability. We now have a 26-year-old receiver who has not got to play with a consistent quarterback yet, and what he really didn't think was a real offense in Tennessee. This ain't the Will Levis show. This ain't rookie Cam Ward. This ain't the Callahans over here. We're in a West Coast offense now, and as we sit here on April 15th, he's the number 2 pass-catching option on the team. So Chigo Okonkwo is the one you circle, highlight, and talk about when you talk about our offensive free agents for 2026.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball. Defense and special teams, we'll stop right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at some edge rushers, Kaylavon Chason, Charles Omenihu, Odafe Owe, Dietrich Wise. Like, it looks like there was an emphasis to not only improve, but also add depth to the pass rush of this defense. Talk to me about what you're seeing here.
So going into the offseason, you love to go to the NFL draft not feeling like you desperately need something. Our edge room was downright disgusting. At least in the wide receiver room, you got Terry McLaurin, right? At least at the cornerback position, we think Trey Amos is good. Amik Robinson can start, and Mikey Sanders still, they think he could turn up in this Durante Jones system. But the edge room was downright disgusting. So what they did was they brought back Dietrich Wise. They brought back Drake Jackson. Dorrance Armstrong was our best edge. He's coming off a torn ACL. They went and dropped a bag on Odafe Owe. 27 years old and ascending, gave him 4 years, $100 million. It's practically a 2-year, $100 million deal. We got our starter opposite Dorrance Armstrong, but they didn't stop there. Kaylavon Chason also went crazy for the Patriots last year, another 27-year-old. We had an emphasis to not be the oldest team in the league this year. We were the oldest team in the NFL the last 2 years. We went out and signed a bunch of 27-year-olds and less this year. And Charles Omenihu has that versatility that he can move inside or play outside. They made the edge room such a strength that we don't have to take it at 7. We still could take one at 7 with only 2 guys under contract after this season, but the edge room is definitely a strength on this team. We went and got speed at the linebacker position. I love Bobby Wagner with my whole heart. It's one of my favorite football players of all time. Bobby Wagner at this big age is a liability in coverage and chasing ball carriers. So as good as the numbers look, we needed speed. Well, guess what? We added Leo Chanel, someone who I feel like has been dying to get a starting middle linebacker role for a team. He's still young. He's super athletic. He had like the 3rd highest relative athletic score coming out from the linebacker position ever. Imagine putting Sonny Styles in a room next to each other. We're going to see when the draft gets here next week. We didn't add too much to the secondary, but we add a former Maryland Terrapin. Nick Cross is definitely going to be our starting strong safety. He's a short tackler. He's a 4.34 guy. He's from the area. He is a Washington fan through and through. He used to be on the mud with us in Twitter, just deep in it back in the day, man. But we still could use another corner in the room, bringing in Amik Robertson. We think he starts on the inside with Mikey and Trey on the outside, or maybe Mikey working his way on the field because we drafted Mansour Delane or Jamad McCoy. We're going to find out a lot about that room, but Adam Peters had his best offseason yet. Akilo Witherspoon to come in as a depth piece was added later in free agency. Adam Peters got a whole lot of people he's familiar with from that Niners tenure.
Yes, he does. And one more that I want to talk about, because this position I feel like is overlooked until it starts costing you some games.
Kicker.
and you know, unfortunately, we drafted Jake Moody in the 3rd round. We thought he was going to be the next great kicker. Yep. For whatever reason, he just couldn't find consistency with the 49ers. We released him. We moved on. We got Eddie Pinheiro, and now he's endeared himself into Niners fan culture. He has a nickname, Eddie De Niro Pinheiro. So, you know, we've moved on. But now Jake Moody is a Commander.
Mhm.
And so, understanding the inconsistencies that he had both with the 49ers and with the Bears for a little bit, what are your thoughts on Jake Moody? And are you confident with him being your starting kicker?
Yes, he looked good for us last year. He looked really. You want to know why it didn't work out in San Francisco? You don't draft a kicker in the 3rd round. You do not draft a kicker on day 2 of the NFL draft. That feels a little sacrilegious to me. A kicker, you can't start considering a kicker to like the 5th round at the early, and even then it feels early. Hey, I see my franchise trade up for a long snapper in the 5th round. He stopped learning how to snap after 3 years, and it didn't work out. So those positions, you got to kind of leave that to the ass end of the draft. But Moody looks good. I wouldn't mind them signing an undrafted free agent or taking a 7th round flyer on a kicker just so he could look over his shoulder. I'm looking at the kicker that plays for the UFL DC team, the Defenders, Matt McCrane. I see them hit 360 yarders. He's hit 3 4-pointers in the UFL season so far. Maybe we need to bring him in just so Jake knows it's not sweet over here. And if you go back to your San Francisco ways, things can end quickly. But I am confident that Moody's going to be the guy here, a young kicker. I'm willing to live with whatever comes with him because he looked good for us last year.
Yeah, so listen, I hope that he can reach his potential. He was a really, really good college kicker. I think, he was so good. That's why, we were the unfortunate team, like you said, to perform a sacrilegious move and take him in the 3rd round. So, I do wish for him to be successful. It wasn't with us, but if it's with the Commanders, then, I'm cool with that. So let us continue. Let me make sure I get my mouse together here. Let's move over to the depth chart, all right?
Yes, sir.
So here's what we're looking at as of right now. Before the NFL draft happens, where we stand with our off-season moves. Our starters look like Jaden McDaniels at quarterback. We know that. 5 is 5. We got Bill Krosky-Merritt. We got Scary Terry, Luke McCaffrey, Treylon Burks, Chiga Conquo, and an offensive line that looks like Laramie Tunsil, Chris Paul, Nick Allegretti, as you mentioned, Sam Cosmi, and Josh Connerly. What are your thoughts on your starters, your backups, and do you see any positions that may be up for grabs where we might see some camp battles?
I'll tell you what, I think Luke McCaffrey has a chance to start in the slot, but both of those guys penciled in as starters are probably not going to be starters going into the regular season, but we'll see. I like to see Treylon Burks and Luke McCaffrey work their way into this role, but I wouldn't pencil either of them in. Hey, Luke McCaffrey may have some motion. Them jerseys hit the team store today. Only 5 were available in person to get, and he's one of the 5. It's Jaden, Terry, Luke McCaffrey, Frankie Louvu, and Bill Krosky-Merritt. So, hey, let a white boy have some motion.
Listen, word on the curb is if we do find a trade that works for both sides, y'all might have to send us Luke for Aiyuk. So we could put him with his big brother. That's what that's what I heard. Not a credible source. That's just what I heard.
I've seen this talked about in the wild, in the wilderness. And I'm sorry, bro. AP, you got to match Petty with Petty. At the owners' meetings, him and Kyle Shanahan had lengthy conversations on the golf course and at dinner. I'm sorry. I'm looking my boy in the face and saying, we're just going to have to stalemate this because I'm not giving you anything. You've already said the words out loud, and your owner contradicted you that Brandon Aiyuk has played his last snap in San Francisco, meaning we don't have to give you anything. You're going to cut him, and we're going to sign him for free at some point. We will wait as long as you're willing to wait because we're not holding our season hostage until he gets here, but I'm not giving the 49ers anything. Personally, I hope AP is a real shrewd negotiator. Nobody gets top dollar, and if you get top dollar, you got to work your ass off to get it from him. I don't see AP bending in this situation.
I agree. And as much as it pains me to say that, because that means we're not getting compensation out of it, you're right. There have been a few times where Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have not been on the same page, and one or the other has said something that has pushed the line. a little bit too far, that kind of kills negotiations for us one way or another. And unfortunately, that happened in this situation as well. So I think you're right. AP is going to wait and wait and wait and give us all a lesson in patience, and being steadfast in what you
Pragmatic.
know and what you believe, being pragmatic,
Yeah.
and going to get that done in a way that is most advantageous for the Commanders. Moving over to the defense, a lot of good names here. A defense that I think can be very, very successful, and depending on who's added via the NFL draft, could only get better. Starters look like Tim Settle Jr., Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, Odafe Owe, Frankie Louvu, Leo Chenal, Kayvon Chason. In the secondary, we got Trey Amos, Nick Cross, Quan Martin, Mikey Sanders-Still, and Amik Robinson. Again, on this side of the ball, talk to me about your starters. Where do you see any position battles? Who could be pushing one of these starters for either the starting role or significant playing time in a rotation?
I think I left out a big part of the conversation, and it's probably a good time to say we have two new first-time play callers at the offensive and defensive coordinator position. So we have a
Okay.
30-year-old wet behind the ears offensive coordinator, David Blau. Yes, the David Blau that was a backup quarterback 3 years ago, and it's only been an assistant QB coach for 2 years. He appears to be our young Ben Johnson in training. He's the offensive coordinator. Durante Jones, someone who's worked under Brian Flores for the last couple years. He's worked under Zimmer. He's worked under a lot of guys. He's called plays for the LSU defense, and he's from the DMV. So he's born and bred into it. We got two innovative, high ceiling. Dan Quinn surprised me because I expected him to go hire Raheem Morris in an offensive play caller that he already knows. They went with the balls on the table. We're going for the highest ceiling. We're going for a competitive advantage. Two big brain, innovative guys. So in Devontae Jones' defense, I think we're kind of crowded right now in the interior of the defensive line, but we would love to see a breakout of Johnny Newton. By the end of the year, I would love Johnny Newton to make Deron Payne expendable, because this will probably be Deron Payne's last year in DC. Our fans have been throwing him in trade conversations for 4 years in a row. He has 1 year left on this deal. He has the highest cap hit on the team at $28 million. He hasn't lived up to that, but yeah, he's here. Javon Kinlaw's here. We just brought Tim Settle back on a 3-year deal as well. So Johnny Newton's going to have to really show something to get on the field. DQ is hyping him up. At the owners' meeting, he was asked what player he expects to break out. He said former second-round pick Johnny Newton. We'll love to see that in year 3. At the edge room, Odafe Owe and Dorrance Armstrong, love my edges. It wouldn't stop us from drafting an edge in the draft. Kayvon Chason can start in case Dorrance Armstrong's recovery has a setback, or maybe Kayvon Chason could go out and just earn the job. We're paying him some good money as well. The cornerback position is the biggest position we have a question mark on, because we think Trey Amos is going to be a starting cornerback. We don't know yet that he's a CB1. We may not have a CB1. Mikey Sanders-Still is in his make or break season with the team. He had a good rookie season. He had an atrocious 2025, but we had an atrocious 2025 as a unit. He's the only takeaway guy on the defense. He's a thief. He's caught 8 interceptions in 2 years. He had 2 in the regular season as a rookie, 2 in the playoff. He had 4 interceptions in the regular season last year. So this is a scheme that the safeties matter more than the cornerbacks. And in an off-man scheme, in an off-coverage scheme, I think Mikey could be a really good cornerback. And I think the plan is to play him on the outside. That's why we brought in Amik Robertson. I be telling Washington fans, Amik Robertson and Mikey Sanders-Still were number 2 and 4 on touchdowns given up as corners last year. But so it would not surprise me if we go corner super high, because Mansour Delane or Jermod McCoy could be our cornerback 1 immediately here. But the safeties and the backers kind of dictate how this defense works. And I think that a guy like Caleb Downs, if we were to get him in the draft, could come in and be pretty much your green dot leader, heartbeat of your defense over here, because Nick Cross is the only safety I really see as a starter on the roster. They like Will Harris, but I don't think Will Harris is a starter for real. And Quan Martin needs to get off my football field right now. So
listen, man, I think all of that insight is absolutely amazing. We could have a whole nother conversation about Caleb Downs because I love Caleb Downs.
love him.
But in my research, I think other safeties that from a measurable standpoint may have had him beat, but then also the pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
You look at a Kyle Hamilton, wasn't a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Derwin James, not a top 10 pick. Minka Fitzpatrick coming out of Bama, not a top 10 pick.
Yep.
So positional value at safety, while Caleb Downs could be the next great safety in that group of safeties that I mentioned, it's hard for me to see him being a top 10 pick when those guys also weren't top 10 picks.
Mm-hmm. And but you know what he has on his side is that the top 10 of this entire class is full of positional outliers. This is not a quarterback heavy draft. All three of the top 3 receivers have a big reason as to why they shouldn't or probably will not go top 10, but one of them might end up doing it. The tackles aren't crazy. There aren't like generational tackles. There aren't prototypical style edge rushers. Most likely more than half of the top 10 of the draft, you're taking something that lacks positional value. If the best players in this class are an off-ball backer, a safety, and a running back. Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, those are like your best players in the class. The best receivers in the class, Jordan Tice is the best receiver in the class. His injury history is terrifying. Mekhi Lemon is 5'11", plays in the slot. He's a dog. Carnell Tate goes to Ohio State. He's nice, but he's a wide receiver too, and you've never seen him be a number 1. So it's like in the top 10, choose wisely. One of the edge rushers went crazy this year for Texas Tech, but he's not as fluid and bendy as they like. The other edge rusher has T-Rex arms and a random case thrown on his jacket a week before the draft. So you have to take an outlier at some point in this top 10. Why not take what I think is the best defensive player in the entire class?
Listen, you make a good argument, bro. Shout out to Big Brock 46. Appreciate you for tuning in as always. Thank you. You make a good argument. And because you made a good argument, we might as well just jump right into the mock draft.
Let's get it.
We've already got the mock draft set. We're on the Commanders. We've got all 7 rounds selected. So throughout this draft, Commanders have 6 total picks. 7, 71, 147, 187, 209 from the Niners, and 223. So we're going to go through. We're going to start the draft. Everyone else will be on automatic. Once we get to the pick, you'll see who's available. If you want to discuss trade, if you want to think about moving back from 7, we can discuss that. Before I start, let me ask this question. Do you have any thoughts around moving up in the draft?
Yeah, we just don't got the facilities for that, big man. We don't got it right now.
He said my pockets is empty because we don't have enough in the check-ins and the savings.
Hey, listen, them picks went into Laramie Tunzel. We traded last year's 3rd and 7th and this year's 2nd and 4th, and we are not mad at that at all. Trust.
I feel you. Okay, so no thoughts of trading up. No. So let's start the draft. Let's see how it lands. Let me get to this side. Okay, so to start the draft, Mendoza goes 1, Arvell Reese 2, Jeremiah Love 3, Sonny Styles 4, Caleb Downs 5.
That's my nightmare.
Ruben Baines Jr. at 6.
That's my nightmare right there. That 3 through 5, that Love, Styles, Downs, that's my I would start fielding calls.
You just talked about it.
Yeah.
You just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So your top 3 are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now they say our needs are running back, wide receiver, defensive line, and safety.
Mm-hmm.
So of the top guys who are here, we've got David Bailey from Texas Tech, Francis Mauigoa, Mansour Delane, Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman, Spencer Fano, Monroe Freeling, and Kenyon Sadiq, amongst other people. So give me your thoughts. And then before you have your pick, just let me know that it's in.
Here is how I feel. David Bailey would be the player I would select here. I think the team might select him, even though there are some character things, and Adam Peters and them, they got this thing called the commander's tag where he may not necessarily have that, but he should have been a top 3 pick. If he's here, you kind of have to take him. Mansour Delane or Jamad McCoy would be where I gone next. A wide receiver would be something that we need. The wide receiver and corner are the things we need the most on the roster. But if I take one, I'm swinging for the fences, and I would try to trade back for, I think I'm calling like Miami at pick 11 and saying, yo, do y'all need one of these players on the board? What y'all trying to do for us to go back a couple spots? Because I'd feel a lot more comfortable moving into the preteens or teens, adding some picks, and then taking a wide receiver, Delane or McCoy, if they're there.
All right, well, let's take a look. It looks like the Dolphins are the team that has showed up here.
And you didn't say nothing about this pre-production or nothing. So
listen,
hey.
I didn't say nothing about this. Y'all saw me start the draft. This is all once you start it, the machine, the AI, that take over and do it itself.
Hey,
so you mentioned Miami. So your interested teams are Miami at 11, Baltimore at 14, and the Jets at 16. You also have the Patriots, the Titans, and the Giants. But that's the end of the first round and then early second round pick. Okay. So you said you would want to either be in the preteen or teens. Miami. So Miami, Baltimore, and the Jets. So let's look at Miami since that's the first team you brought up. So obviously you would be giving them 7. Yep. Moving back to 11. And so this is a lopsided trade. You're actually moving back. So we're going to want to get something additional from the Dolphins. Now, we could be very strategic and go, the point values, going from 11 to 7, there's a point differential, and you got to add those points. Okay. It's too much to get the calculator and do all of that. But
it's probably a third round pick, right?
Probably a third round pick. So you want to do 11 and 75?
Yeah, do 11 and 75. Let's see if
okay, let's do 11 and 75. The trade was accepted. So the Dolphins move up to 7. And so now you've got an additional pick. You had 71. Now you have 71 and 75. Yes, and then you move back to 11. So let's resume the draft and see what happens.
Let's get active, man.
Okay, so the Dolphins moved up and they got one of your guys. They moved up. They wanted to get a corner. They got Mansour Delane. And then Francis Mawinoa came off the board. So did David Bailey. And so did Monroe Freeling. So now we're on the clock at 11. And then we still have Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman, Spencer Fano, Kenyon Sadiq, Mekhi Lemon, if we want to look wide receiver, Vega Ione from Penn State, and Jermon McCoy, another corner that you had talked about. So what are we thinking? Do we want to stay at 11? Do we want to move back again? Maybe acquire a second round pick this time? What are your thoughts?
We're going to stick and pick here, man. I'm going to do what I think the team would do in this situation, man. I have a preference at wide receiver. Jordan Tyson, but his injury history probably scares this team off. I think Mekhi Lemon would fit this team like a glove, but something tells me that Adam Peters and company love Carnell Tate from Ohio State. We're having brand loyalty. We're going to trust the process that Ohio State is just a wide receiver factory. They just spit him out, and that if he didn't play with Jeremiah Smith, his numbers would look a lot more wide receivery. So we're going to take Carnell Tate with this 11th pick.
All right, the pick is in, and it's Carnell Tate at 11.
Somebody said, how do you spend all day talking about jerseys? Because I'm a full-time content creator, because I care, because I'm passionate, and because I am good at this shit. So that's why I did that.
Facts. Facts. Nothing more to be said after that. All right, our next pick. So we have 71 and 75. So we have picks very, very close to one another. So we got our wide receiver. That need is taken care of. I know you talked about corner. That's another place that we can look. Running back, defensive line, safety. Some of the top players that we have, Bryce Lance from North Dakota State, Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas, Dominique Orange, Kalen Rutledge, Zachariah Branch, Max Clare, Romello Height, Deion Burks. a few other guys here. So, what are you thinking here at 71? Is there a position that you're looking to target at this point in the draft? Talk to me.
I would love to. Can I see what the corners and the safeties look like on the board right now?
Absolutely. So let's go to safeties. So we've got Kamari Ramsey from USC, Genesis Smith from Arizona, Zakee Wheatley from Penn State, Bud Clark from TCU, Michael Taft from Texas. That's our top 5 in our safety group. And then if we come out of here, come to CB, top 5 here, Chandler Rivers from Duke, Devin Moore, Florida, Dalen Everett from Georgia, Malik Muhammad from Texas, and Willie III from Texas A&M are our top 5 on this side.
Can I see what linebackers are on the board as well?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Kyle Lewis, Anthony Hill Jr., Keyshawn Elliott, Deontay Lawson, and Bryce Boucher are our top 5.
Okay, I like what I have here. Give me Kamari Ramsey, safety, USC. I need a free safety.
Nice.
Let's go. Kamari
Ramsey.
Let's get it, man.
Off the board at 71. And now we're back on the clock at 75.
Okay. I think Romello Height out of Texas Tech, it's an edge that we're very interested in, but I think I'm gonna save edge for a little later. Let's go to corner now. Let's shore up the secondary with these 2 picks, and let's go get Dalen Everett out of Georgia.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's
take it in, and it's Dalen Everett from Georgia, one of my favorite corners in this class. I think this is a great pick at 75. Listen, one of the things that I will also say for those that are watching, do not take too much stock into the PFF grades. PFF has their own system. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good.
It's not the gospel,
It's definitely not. So don't put too much stock in the grades. Put stock into Rio's perspective and his expertise on what the team is looking for, the needs of the team, and what players best fit those needs at this point in the draft. All right, we are back on the clock here. Round 5, pick 147. Some of our top players that we have here, tight end Marlon Klein, tackle Trey Zoon III, defensive tackle Tim Keenan III, tackle Austin Barber, running back Le'Veon Moss, cornerback Devin Marshall, edge
Show me centers.
Yeah,
Nick Allegretti needs a running make at
interior
center.
Offensive line. The best center on the board at this point is Pat Coogan from Indiana. I'm pretty sure DJ Campbell does not have position versatility. I don't think he played any center. No snaps at center.
No.
Only right guard.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check with the 2 guys ahead of him in Jeremiah Wright. Again, also no center snaps.
Give me the champion. Hold on, scroll a little bit down, a little bit more. Yeah, no, matter of fact, give me the No, I'm gonna get the Alabama center with our next pick. Let me see linebackers.
So right now you're eyeing Parker Brales for later on in the draft.
Yes, zone. Okay. That's a zone scheme center out of a blue blood program, man. I don't need a center right now. We'll get one a little bit later.
Absolutely. All right.
Edge and backer. Show me edge and backer.
All right, let's go edge first. So we got Max Llewellyn, Caden Curry, Quintavious Hutchins, George Gums Jr., and TJ Guy as our top 5 in the edge class.
Okay, show me a little bit more in the edge. No, show me a little bit down.
You want to
go
back to edge? My bad, I'm moving too fast.
The board be lying sometimes.
Yes, it does. We got Vincent Anthony Jr., Michael Heldman, Patrick Payton, Eric O'Neill, Logan Fano. Mm-hmm. That's the next 5 in this group.
All right, so let's see what the linebacker room is talking about. Okay.
So we got Caleb Ellams-Orr, Aiden Fisher, Trey Moore, Owen Heineke, Red Murdoch, Jack Kelly, Harold Perkins Jr., Eric Gentry, Xavier Sori Jr. This linebacker class is fire.
Give me Aiden Fisher out of Indiana, and I'm putting two turned
Ooh.
up white boys out. It's Leo Chanel and Aiden Fisher season. And if Harold Perkins is there in the 7th round because he shouldn't be, but LSU didn't know what to do with him, that's my low budget, like Micah Parsons type edge backer tweener. I'm coming back later.
Okay. So Aiden Fisher at 147. Nice. Okay, now we're back on the clock at 187, 40 picks later.
Yep. It's time. It feels like Parker Brailsford season time. Let me get my. You know what? Give me Quintavious Hutchins.
Ooh.
Give me my lean edge. You know him and
Okay.
Romelo are like the lightest edges in the draft. Give me Quintavious Hutchins.
All right, Quintavious Hutchins at 187. Okay, 2 more picks left. We're on the clock at 209 and then 223.
Yep. And now I'm taking a center.
So now, interior O-line.
He's
Parker
there. There we
Brailsford
go.
is here. And we'll take him at 209. And just let's just see, because I don't see his name. Oh, there you go. Harold Perkins.
Yep, he went
off the board at 214.
It's all good. It is all
good. Okay, 223, our final pick of the draft. We've got Oscar Delp, Desmond Reed, Isaiah.
Let me see defensive tackles, please.
Okay. Defensive interior. We got Devin Eastern, Tyler Onyedem, James Thompson, Jordan Vandenberg, Jackie Marshall, Dominic Williams.
Okay. I'm not really loving. You know what? Let me let's go back to all real quick. Go to tight ends, because I wouldn't mad adding another. Matter of fact, take Oscar Delp out of Georgia just off the profile. He's all athlete, no production. Ben Sinnott, I don't know what he is yet. I'm taking a tight end because it's my last pick in the draft. We're gonna have multiple pass catching tight ends in the room, man. Give me Oscar Delp.
Bet. Okay. What? Please tell me you didn't mess up my thing. I didn't
give him a grade.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so they gave you an A+ on your first pick. So we trade back from 7. We pick up 11 and 75. And at pick 11, we take wide receiver Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Our first 3rd round pick, because we didn't have a second, pick 71, we get safety Kamari Ramsey from USC. They gave you a B- there. With that 3rd round pick that we picked up in the trade, we get corner Dalen Everett from Georgia. They gave you a C-. No 4th round pick in round 5, pick 147. Picked up linebacker Aiden Fisher from Indiana. They gave you a D- there. Round 6, pick 187. We took edge Quintavious Hutchins from Boston College. Shout out to Boston College. My little brother played there. Got a B+ for that one. And also in round 6, pick 209, we get center Parker Brailsford, C- for that one. And in round 7, 223, tight end Oscar Delp from Georgia, got a B for that. So overall, they gave you a B+.
Okay.
That's the total grade. And again, we are taking these grades with a grain of salt. PFF has a way that their grade, as Rio mentioned, it's not Bible. This is just the grades that they give. But overall, if this is how the draft ended up for the Commanders, what are your thoughts? What are you feeling? Talk to me.
I'm feeling pretty good coming out of it. I'll tell you what, I'm not as high on Carnell Tate as everybody else is, but I think the team is high on him. I think AP and company love him. They spent some extensive time with him at the Ohio State Pro Day, and he was at the Top Golf Invitational yesterday. We had the top 15 prospects all here at the same time, having a mixer top 30 visit, and he was one of those guys. So if you're going to draft Carnell Tate on the 1st round, my boy Jalen, he would be fuming if we take him next week. If I'm going to have Carnell Tate in the 1st round, it's outside of the top 10. So I traded back with Miami saying, okay, we're comfortable taking a wide receiver at 11. Let's pick up a day 2 pick and let's take the wide receiver. Let's bet on the 21-year-old with size, with fluid hands, deep ball, vertical threat. We think he could turn into something. Let me get a pick for him and take him outside of the top 10. So that's the pick. I love Kamari Ramsey, Dalen Everett, and Aiden Fisher. Like, I love everything we did after the Carnell Tate pick. I'm cool with the Carnell Tate pick. PFF is very high on the guy. They gave me an A+ for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out again, Shot with Charles, 70 watching. Smash
boy,
that
my
like button.
guy.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Listen, I think this is a great draft. I think you address needs. You get a solid when you talk about having a solid number 2 next to Terry McLaurin in Carnell Tate. You got a big 6'3", 190, 195 pound wide receiver who can stretch the field, who can go up and make the contested catch. You get a dog like Kamari Ramsey to put in your safety. You get a dog like Dalen Everett. So now your secondary gets 2 young, hungry dogs that are ready to eat. Aiden Fisher, like you said, he will roam the field. You have him roaming one side, Leo Chanel roaming the other side. You get an edge in Quatavius Hutchins. You add depth on the offensive line with Parker Brailsford. And then you get one of the most athletic tight ends in the class who, if developed properly, like you said, under this new, young, hotshot offensive coordinator, might be able to turn into a diamond in the rough that you didn't expect. Listen, we didn't expect, George Kittle to – we expected him to be a decent player, a decent tight end, but we drafted him in the 5th round. Did we have full expectation as a fan base that he would turn into one of the best tight ends in the league? No. Absolutely not. But you get the right guy in the right system, things start to materialize. And now you got a diamond in the rough in the 7th round who at least passes the test from a physical standpoint. He has the athleticism and the body type and the build to play in the NFL. Now can he put together the mental side to be able to play at a high level? So that's yet to be seen. But again, you spend a 7th round pick. So how much does it really cost you?
Yeah. And the Carnell Tate thing, just to put a bow on that situation, I think Carnell Tate would fit what we do like a glove as a wide receiver 2 to Terry. But here's the thing. When you're picking this high in the draft, you want the successor to be the number 1 of your team to be Terry McLaurin. People are projecting him to be such a thing. But as of right now, he looks like a high-end wide receiver 2 on some T. Higgins type beat. And if he's that, phenomenal. But what it also means is when Terry ages out in a couple years, you'll be drafting very high for a wide receiver 1 again. And if that's the case, that's why I would rather go elsewhere at the receiver position. But I did what I think the team would do over what I would do here.
Give me 1 second. I don't know why this is doing this.
It'd be tripping sometime. It'd be tripping sometime. No worries.
Because I was trying to pull up a comparison from my draft when I did it. Now I did my draft for the Commanders right after the combine. So that was a few weeks ago. Some things have changed. We did have one in common, and I'll get to that. I didn't make any trades, but at that time, at pick 7, Sonny Styles fell to me, so I took him.
I love it. Love it.
I took him.
That's my number 2. Yeah,
and then in round 3, pick 71, you had talked about it. I took Romello Height.
Okay.
Round 5, I got a tackle. I got Diego Pons. Put him on the offensive line.
Okay.
Round 6, 186, I got a corner. I got Takario Davis from Washington.
Big boy. Big.
Round 6, 197, I got wide receiver Kendrick Law. And then round 7, pick 223, I picked up Parker Brailsford for you.
Big yards after catch receiver Kendrick Law.
Yes. Yes, I feel like you got your number 1 in Scary Terry, and then you got Kendrick Law who can catch the bubble screens, the drags, the quick slants, and once the ball is in his hands,
he can make something shake.
Make some shake. Listen, man, this is one of my favorite times of the year. Meeting you all those years ago and being able to, build this relationship that is both professional and personal. I consider you a friend. I consider you, one of the greats when it comes to this content creation and what you do for the Commanders and the team and the fans there. So, being able to hop on with you, man, and talk some football and kind of get insight about your team, man, we could do this every year for the rest of the life as long as the good Lord allows us to, have the equipment and have the ability to talk about our teams. I would love to do this, man. Listen, we need to find time after the draft. I'll make sure this will be on YouTube, so we'll be able to go back and refer to it. But I want to take a screen grab of the mock draft that you did, and then I want to compare what you were able to do tonight with what the Commanders do next week. And then we can cross-reference and see, because I think you are one of the content creators that, and as much teams will say, we've got professionals that handle that. I think there are some content creators that somebody on the inside of the organization is listening to kind of get some additional insight and feedback as a quasi scout or quality control. I think that you are one of those guys. So I'm very interested to see your thought process and how you broke down the draft versus how AP and his staff does. So, if you can find some time, I know you're busy, but I would love to jump on in about, 2 weeks or so that we can do a follow-up to the actual draft and we can get your thoughts on it. So, Rio, any last thoughts, man, before we jump on out of here?
Not only do we need to do that, we need to debrief when this Aiyuk situation comes to a resolution.
Facts. So we got multiple episodes on tap. Yeah. We've got a NFL draft follow up, and we got a Brandon Aiyuk, wrap up once that situation gets started. Rio, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of Commander Nation appreciate y'all. All of Mose Knows Nation, the Mose Knows fam. Listen, you're part of the family now. There's nothing you could do about it. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And get ready. NFL draft is in a week's time. It's an exciting time. So we have a 3-day weekend. First round is Thursday night. Second and third round on Friday, and then 4 through 7 on Saturday. So tune in to Rio. Are you doing any content around the draft time?
Oh, I'm streaming every day next week. I got a big stream. I got a NFC East mock draft on Monday night. I'm doing my War Room role play stream with my boys in my group chat. See, what we do is we all assign a role. You're Adam Peters, you're Dan Quinn, you're the offensive coordinator, you're the defensive coordinator, and we do a complete 7-round mock draft. Wednesday, I'm doing a call-in prediction show where I'm going to let all the viewers call in and make the pick who it's going to be at 7. We do our draft party with the group chat dudes on Thursday where we react to the entire first round. And on Friday on our group channel, Commanders Kings, we're going to do it. And to close the draft, me and my son are going to go live for the whole day 3. So we got a busy week next week.
Bro, that's fire. Bro, that's tough. So listen, I'm gonna reach out to you during the draft, especially on Thursday night. I'm going to be doing a stream for the 49ers side. But when the Commanders are on the clock, I'm going to hop off of that. I'm going to jump on your stream real quick. We'll chop it up. We'll see who the pick is, and then I'll go back to my Niners. If that sounds like a deal. I can't
promise that's going to work, though, because I'm at a party full of people, and it's going to be pretty rowdy in there, and we usually do phones in the basket a pick or two before Washington gets up there.
Oh, really?
Picks have been tipped before. I've tipped it one time, but we're not doing that no more. We need a raw react because we have some of the funniest, the Emmanuel Forbes, the Dotson, the Connolly. We have some of the funniest reactions together on draft night. So there's a world where I'm not looking at chat. We're not looking at phones once like pick 4 gets on the board. So, but you might be able to get me afterwards though.
I might hop on afterwards. All right. Well, then once the pick is in and it's announced, then I'll hop over, chop it up with you for about 5 or 10 minutes, get your reaction, and then I'll jump back. Listen, I don't want to take any more of your time. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Listen, if you're not already subscribed to Rio Robinson channel, Rambling with Rio, get over there, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, tune into the content if you're a Commanders fan. If you're a Niners fan, if you love football talk, Mose knows I'm here. Support both of us. We just want to give you guys good content, and we love talking football. Without any other things being said, with any further ado, love and appreciate you all for your time and attention, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace. In that street.